Yusuf, you said that with a reform government, the British people would come first. Surely that's what any government should do, and that sort of implies that previous governments have to. Who do you think that the Labour government has been putting first?
It's not just something I'm implying. It's an obvious fact borne out by all of the data. And it started with the Tories, by the way, a party that I voted for historically, a party that basically brought in 12 million people gross, 6 million people net over their 14 years in power. They were the ones who actually created this situation where almost 200,000 people now have turned up on our beaches uninvited over the last 8 years. And that's not an invasion, because I know some people say, oh, you shouldn't use that word. It is an invasion. That's exactly what it is. And it's completely unfair on the British people. I went through, in my speech today, I went through several examples of where tragic situations where British people have been murdered or raped by people who should never have been in the country. And then as insult to injury, the judiciary allowed those people to stay in the country because they cited the ECHR. And that is the catastrophic situation this country has been in now for years. We've got, frankly, a situation where the British people are second-class citizens in their own country. And our promise is this: if you vote for a reform government, Nigel's our Prime Minister and I'm your Home Secretary, the British people will come first. We'll secure our borders. We will deport every illegal migrant in the country. We'll get the knives off our streets and we will make you feel safe again.
We're here in Dover. We've had the three-word slogans, stop the boats, smash the gangs, and the numbers have gone up. You are saying that you will deport people who arrive. You haven't ruled out literally turning the boats back in the English Channel. It's not like doing it hundreds of miles off the coast of Australia. It's the busiest shipping lane in the world. The French won't even let their people go into shallow water to intercept these boats. Is that really going to happen? Would you go that far?
So let's address that latter point now. So number one, the British taxpayers handed over at the behest of Tory and now Labour government 700 million quid. 700 million pounds of British taxpayer money has gone to France expressly to stop the boats. Can we have a refund, please? This is the most insane humiliation of this country as a result of supine politicians imaginable. That's number one. Number two, people said that France will never take any of these people back. Well, Nigel actually met with Jordan Bardella, who he might not be the next French president, but he is the bookmaker's favourite by some distance. And he said, after meeting Nigel, yeah, you know what, we would. That's what happens when someone like Nigel meets these people, as opposed to, the supine characters of the Tory party and currently Keir Starmer, who have no idea how to negotiate on behalf of Britain. But I also want to be clear about something else. We're not relying on that, right? So we are not going to put the security and the safety and the sovereignty of this country in the hands of any other foreign nation. It's going to stop under a reform government. So that's why I'm saying we will massively increase surveillance on the English Channel. The technology already exists. We will ensure that 100% of any person who tries to break into our country illegally are detained. Not four-star hotels, Xbox, free activities, free healthcare, free taxis. No. You're being detained. You're being deported back to the country from which you came. If you do that, look, people respond to incentives. If you have a 100% chance of being detained and deported, forget about paying people smugglers. You're just going to stop coming.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cybercriminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
You've talked about the Boris wave, the huge numbers of people coming into the country. You've said you're going to scrap indefinite leave to remain and cut welfare for foreign nationals. You're going to have to go back to the European Union. They always play hardball. This is going to be really tough, isn't it?
Almost everything I talked about today is going to be really tough. I want to be clear. This is not going to be easy. If it was easy, it would already have been done. But we're resolute. That's why I'm in politics, that's why Nigel's in politics. Nigel's been talking about this stuff for decades. Look, it's completely insane that British taxpayers have spent £15 billion on universal credit welfare payments for foreign national households over the last 18 months alone. That's just the last 18 months. And that's just universal credit. That's before PIP, that's before any of the other welfare that is available to such people. Here's our expectation of migrants, and I think it's very reasonable. It's what any serious country would do. Number one, we expect you to more than pay your way economically. Number two, we expect you to speak English to a high standard. And number three, we expect you to not commit crime. I think that's entirely reasonable. I think people watching this program would agree that that's entirely reasonable. If you can't support yourself in this country, then I'm sorry. Our priority is the British people, many of whom are struggling, obviously, with the cost of living crisis. How many times are British people being told there's no money for them? There's no money for our pensioners. There's no money for more GP surgeries. And yet, by the way, again, that 15 billion over 18 months is just one form of welfare. And here's this really scary thing. If you just extrapolate the growth rate in that 15 billion pound number over the last 3 years through to 29, do you know what the number is? It's over 20 billion pounds. So you tell me this, what's the correct number before we go back to the EU and say this is insane and it's unacceptable? Is it 30 billion? Is it 50 billion? The amount that Britain will be spending on universal credit welfare payments for foreign nationals, if left unchecked and based on the latest growth rate, will be more than Britain spends on its entire policing system. So I'm sorry, we've got to go back to them. It's completely unfair on the British people.
You are a practicing Muslim, but you've spoken today about the importance of Christian heritage in this country. And I thought there were echoes of the sort of thing we hear in America. Donald Trump spoke about Europe and civilizational Eurasia. J.D. Vance said similar in Munich last year. Do you think that's where Britain is heading?
Well, look, I don't think it's for politicians to moralise with the British public about whether they should go to church, whether they should believe in God, or, which God they should believe in. See, many people in this country don't have a faith. Here's what I am very, very strongly of the view of. Look, I'm not a Christian, but I went to a Christian school. I was born in this great country. I can see that so much of what makes Britain Britain is its Christian heritage. And I don't think there's any doubt about that, and that's why we love our monarchy. There's so much about this country's history and its heritage that is intertwined with that. And so that's why the policy we've announced today is really clear. If we're going to automatically list every church in the country, and we're going to create a new use class, meaning that never again under a reform government will churches be converted into mosques or any other place of worship for any other faith. And look, I would also say this just on a more personal level. If you've never been to King's Chapel in Cambridge, I thoroughly recommend it, because again, whether you believe in God or whether you or which God you believe in, it's difficult to stand in that room and not have not be in awe of it. It took 3 kings of England, no less, to bring that thing, and many, many decades to bring that to bear. I thoroughly recommend that. So look, we've got to be serious about protecting our culture in Britain. We'll have much more to talk about with regards to this. This is about Britain. It's not about America. It's about Britain. And here's the most important thing about all of this. A country without a culture, it's just an economic zone. It's basically just a shopping mall with a flag, as I said in my speech, just waiting to be exploited. So yes, we do need politicians, not to moralise to the British people or tell them, what they should be doing with regards to their religious lives, but to stand up and protect and defend Britain's Christian heritage, which I think is a very popular position.
Zia Yusuf, thank you very much for talking to us today on Jubilant News. Thank you.
Thank you.